Hi friends, welcome to the video. I'm Olivia. If you've never seen my face before, as you see behind me, I am a fragrance enthusiast, reviewer, so if you're into that sort of thing, consider subscribing. And if you are a returning friend, hi friends, how are we today? Everyone comment down below, how are you feeling today? I, for one, am personally very excited for today's video because we're going to be talking about some hidden gems. Some fragrances in my collection that I don't hear much about online, perhaps they're newer or they're just not as popular, but I think they should be. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. First off is from a brand new brand out of Korea. This is DGAF. Don't give a, you know. This one doesn't get talked about much because, as I said, this is a brand new brand. I have, I believe, 4 fragrances from this brand now, and this one is super interesting to me because it's kind of the culmination of a lot of different scents combined. You get this bright, zesty citrus in the opening, which I believe is bergamot, and then you get some aromatic qualities like sage. But then on the dry down, you get a pepperiness, an incense, a resinous that's a little bit spicy, a little bit masculine. So this is both fresh, but deep at the same time, which is hard to pull off. I find this brand really intriguing. I love their marketing photos. They're incredible. The artistry behind them is amazing. And I so far have pretty much liked everything that I have tried from them. They're a really easy to like brand. If you like Rose 31 from Le Labo, that's kind of similar. This has a rose note. It's a little bit incensey, but it's citrusy and zesty and aromatic. It's a very fun one. And I think that this, although it has some warmer facets to it, would still be really good in spring and summer because it's not heavy. Next, I don't hear anybody talking about this brand. This is called Sphinx, and this is called Strawberry Kiss, and it smells exactly as you would imagine. You remember those lifesaver, like strawberry cream lifesavers that were striped and they were creamy strawberry, as one would imagine? This is what this smells like, but then this also has like a baked good type quality, but because you get this fresh, juicy strawberry, it doesn't feel too gourmand where it would be inappropriate to wear in the warmer months. This is a juicy strawberry, a very smooth, light vanilla. You get a little bit of a baked good quality. It's almost like a strawberry tart with a really fresh strawberry jam that's chilled over top of it. This is the best strawberry scent without smelling too juvenile, without smelling too, you know, Bath and Body Works-esque, because these are extrait de parfum and they last so long and they smell so high quality. I genuinely don't understand why nobody is talking about this brand. If you like sweet fragrances, but you want something a little elevated, that's still fun, but it's got a little maturity and it will last all day long, this is the one. Next is called Melody of the Sun by Mancera. And Mancera fragrances, along with their sister company Montal, they are incredibly powerful. And this is the only lavender fragrance that I have in my collection that I truly, truly enjoy. So this opens up with a blast of citrus. It also has black currant, so it gives it a little bit of airy sweetness, but it's ground down by a green tea and mate note that give it an earthiness. And this is a perfectly unisex, clean, fresh, everyday type fragrance. This has a little bit of aromatic qualities from that lavender, but it isn't that kind of medicinal smelling lavender. I personally find lavender to be so irritating to my nose, but in this, it does not bother me at all. The grapefruit makes it very zesty and bright and citrusy in the opening, but it smells clean and fresh. That green tea smells natural. It doesn't smell like a synthetic, you know, is it Elizabeth Arden's green tea? I cannot stand that fragrance because to me that smells like cheap hair products from the 90s. It's nowhere near similar. If you like freshies, if you like citrus, if you like aromatic, this one would be perfect. This one was sent to me from Golden Scent. They're a retailer online and I genuinely had never heard of this brand. This is called Perfumeco and this one specifically is Velvet Vanilla. And this one is very interesting to me because typically I would hate like a licoricey type scent, but sometimes it works. So this one almost smells a little bit like black opium meets licorice. And in my mind, that sounds like a nightmare. But this is so effective because it's got this really smooth vanilla. It's got a little bit of a floral component, but it almost smells a little bit like black licorice is tossed in there. It's not as sweet and cloying as black opium. Next is Vert Vizier by Veronica By. Now, in the past, I have really not cared for green fragrances because oftentimes I find that they smell very grassy. I don't like that fresh cut grass type scent, but this is a green fragrance that does it right, and it's very uplifting, it's very refreshing. You have this spicy minty note along with absinthe that gives it a slight boozy quality. It's a little bit woody on the dry down, but that mint is very fresh and prominent, but it's not too intensely menthol where it burns your nose. It's more as if you were to take a fresh mint leaf and transpose that into a fragrance. Despite this being a fresh fragrance, this is very long lasting. It has, I would say, a moderate to slightly large projection to it, and it lasts all day long. The quality of their products are absolutely beautiful. And I just find this cooling and refreshing without being synthetic smelling. It smells very high quality. Again, a really good one for the warmer weather that's going to be coming up. And I am actually going to be doing a live video with them. So I'm very excited for that. That's going to be in April. So check my Instagram if you are not already subscribed. It's under the same name, Olivia Olfactory, to have updates on when I go live with Veronica By. This one is such a fun one. So this is Lily Fantasy, and I have absolutely not heard anyone talk about this. This is from the house of Juliet Has a Gun. What I've noticed that's characteristic of almost all the Juliet Has a Gun fragrances is that they have a very strong musky base. So if you like a musky base, this is amazing. But the top notes in this, you have bubblegum and you have tuberose and jasmine. So it's that very bubblegummy tuberose that would be like in My Way by Giorgio Armani or L'Interdit. I find it to be less toothache sweet. This is a little bit more smooth. That musk gives it a clean vibe. So it is quite sweet and bubblegummy when you first put it on, but as it dries down, that ambery musk comes through and warms up on the skin, giving it a clean yet sweet yet floral kind of vibe to it. And it is such a fun fragrance. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Next is Gatsby 22 from Ormond Jane. In the beginning, you get a strong, bright, sparkling citrus. Obviously, you guys can tell that I love my citrus fragrances. And this also has osmanthus, so you get a sweet, slightly buttery floral. And in the base of this, you get a strong vetiver that's smoothed out a little bit with a powdery tonka. And the way that I would describe this is this almost has, with the citrus and with the vetiver, almost has this gin and tonic type feel to it, but then it dries down a little bit woody and a little bit richer. This is a very complex fragrance, but it is still bright and fresh, good for the hot months that are coming up. And it's just very unique. I have absolutely nothing like it in my collection. So citrusy, powdery, fresh, a little earthy, tangy, refreshing. You would think with the powderiness, with some of the notes that it might lean a little bit feminine, but in my opinion, it is so perfectly unisex, very unique. If you get the chance to smell this one, do yourself a favor and check it out. Now I hear people talking about EBK, but I hear them talking about Deep in Desire Yacht or Ruby and Vanilla, but this one is super interesting. I only have a little bottle of it, but this is Aquamarine and Powder, and this is a musky, powdery. This one also has a little lavender, so I take it back. I must like a little bit of lavender when it's not screaming at me. But this is an ultra powdery, clean, fresh fragrance. It's got almost like that vintage makeup type quality to it, but it also has the note of passion fruit. So you get a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of tartness just on the opening, but then in comes these very smooth, warm, powdery notes. This smells so incredible. I wasn't sure what to expect with it being aquamarine and powder. I thought that it was going to be maybe a little bit oceanic. It's not. It is just a really high quality, vintage, powdery scent. I'm realizing that I'm making it a habit of saying I don't like certain fragrance notes, and then I go on to talk about fragrances within that house that I enjoy. So I feel like a dummy, but there are always exceptions to the rules. So as I said earlier, I don't really care for green fragrances, overly green fragrances. And this is Ignutia by Perfumo Roma. And this is such an incredible green scent. And this is very green. This literally has notes of grass. But this also has a very strong fig. So you get a bit of sweetness that when translated to the green notes, to me, smells like a big, juicy Granny Smith apple, the bright green apples that are tart and juicy, along with a little bit of grassiness in the background. And you would think sweeter notes don't really go with green notes. To me, that sounds like a disaster. But because it's fig, it is a more earthy sweetness as opposed to like a candied sweetness. I don't think that would work together, but something about this is a masterpiece, and the longevity of honestly anything from Perfumo Roma is incredible. So if you are into green fragrances, but you're looking for something very unique, very different, I would try this one. I've heard some people talking about Flamenco by Ramon Monegal, but I don't feel like I have heard a lot of people talking about this because this is an incredibly interesting, unique, fruity floral. I feel like fruity florals are just looked at as very mainstream, not very original, but this is so interesting to me. So this is a rose fragrance, but it's made very sweet and candied with apple and raspberry, but then it's got powdery notes like iris, and then on the dry down, what's interesting is there is this pine note that kind of smells a little bit like Christmas tree. So imagine a sweet, jammy, candied rose, a little bit of almost like a Christmas tree type background to it with a strong powdery element. It's so unique. It smells so incredible. It is definitely on the sweeter side of things, but this is not a mature rose. So if you're afraid of rose a little bit, stay tuned on this channel because I am all about the rose. And this one is an excellent one to start into niche fragrances because this is, I think a lot of people would enjoy this, although it is very unique. So that's it for today, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed these hidden gems. If you have any hidden gems in your collection that you hear nobody talking about, I want to know what they are. So comment them down below so that way I can try them for myself. And until next Saturday, take care of yourselves.